Is your camera in the right spot?
Yeah. Thank you. You can shut the.
Yeah,
It's Actually, it's perfect. I don't know how you did it, but it's perfect. Yeah. To get things together this morning. Y'all have no idea. It has been it has been a morning. It's been a morning. It's gonna be a good day. For the past 2 days, I have been dealing with my neck and not being able to turn it. Last night was the worst night. So this morning we had to do a lot of neck exercises just to get me to get this range of motion. Good morning, Tammy. Happy birthday. So, and then when I sat down to do the show, I couldn't get any of the technology to work. So we have a stiff neck. Technology wouldn't work, but it's going to be an amazing day. So let's do the quick introduction. Good morning, Veronica. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we're having confessions and conversations about your everyday. I was about to say the old intro. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. Why do I want to say that? Life and finances. That used to be it. My name is Yamitra Jojo Wada, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them to the YouTube channel, send them to the podcast. That's where podcasts are found. Have them watch the movie, have them read any of the 7 books. If they don't do any of that, tell them I said good morning. Josh, I'm glad you rested yesterday. A to the men. So today is Tammy's birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Go Tammy, it's your birthday. Go Tammy, it's your birthday. So happy birthday to my friend Tammy. Peace, blessings, and abundance to you, and many, many more. I hope you have the most amazing day ever. Hold on, y'all. And I know you will. So happy birthday to my friend. All right. So yesterday we talked about what to do when we don't feel like it. We talked about I don't feel like it, and that you got to line your actions up with your decisions, and that I'm not any different than anybody else. I just understand my journey better than everybody else. Good morning, Tiffany. So yesterday we talked about what do we do when we don't feel like it, and how to understand if you're not feeling like it, if it's you procrastinating because you're afraid of succeeding, you're afraid of failing, you're afraid you don't know the answers, or is it you don't feel like it because you really need to rest and you need to learn. That's a fine line. You really need to learn the difference, because sometimes we can say, oh, I don't feel like it, and it's simply because we are afraid of what we're going to do next, or the next right step. So be mindful of that. So today, the quote of the day comes from my boxing coach. Respect your honesty with yourself. Even though this is the last day of Women's Month, we're going to end the quote with this one, because it just made so much sense to me. I felt it. Respect your honesty with yourself. Meaning, on this journey, you've got to be real honest with yourself about a lot of things, about where you're going, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, how you want to accomplish this thing. You got to be honest with yourself. So, and you got to respect yourself along the way. Maybe that's why. Listen, and we'll always do confessions and conversations with JoJo. Maybe that's why it's difficult to make that decision, because you don't respect yourself. You don't respect the honesty that you give to yourself that you can truly make that decision. So, what does respect look like for yourself? What does that journey look like? Like you tell everybody how to respect you. Like um, you tell them how to talk to you. You tell them how you want to be treated. You give them a whole laundry list um, of everything, right, Joshua? That's true. You give them a whole laundry list of everything that you want them to do and for them to respect you. But how do you respect yourself? What does that look like? Okay. What does you respecting you look like? So if I can tell everybody how to treat JoJo, but how am I treating me? So let's look at it in terms of, all the ships, friendship, religionship, family ship. Um, you can tell, well, to be my friend, you got to do this. Or to be my partner in life, you got to do this. And you have all of these rules and regulations, which I'm a fan of, right? But how do I then in turn respect myself? Right, Joshua? You got to respect yourself first before you can respect anybody else. But what does that journey look like for you? And so I was trying to think of, y'all remember back in the day, you used to make acronyms for everything. So I was trying to make one for respect. And I came up with reasonable expectations of self, your persistence and perseverance. That's both the 1P. Excellence, and then it must continue and it must be timely. That's what respect means to me. Reasonable expectations of self. You will be persistent. You will have perseverance. There will be excellence. It continues and it must be timely, meaning it is ongoing. And there is always the right time to present yourself so that others know not only am I requiring this of you, I also require it of me. And when I got that point of requiring something of myself and respecting myself, then it was easier for me to put forth those boundaries to other people because I wasn't just telling you to respect me. I was also holding myself to that same standard. It's really hard to hold other people to standards of loving us, taking care of us, being our friend, our careers, our family, when we want to give them all the rules to respect us, when we're not applying any of those rules to ourselves so that we can respect ourselves. And so when I began to apply those rules that I was giving everybody else, when I could apply them to JoJo, then it was easier for me to say to somebody, this is past my boundary. This ain't gonna work. And it was easier. So right now it's hard because when you tell somebody to respect you and they don't, you be like, I'll let it pass because that's my best friend. She said that sly remark, but that's just how she is. So I'm gonna let it pass. But when you begin to have a reasonable expectation about yourself and that you're looking for excellence, it's going to be continuous and timely, then you have no problem with telling somebody that. Tiffany, you missed us singing happy birthday to Tammy. So let's talk about that. Let me tell you, and I have a quote, and it comes out of I forget whose book. I want to say Yana Van Zant. And number one, I went back through my memories this morning, and there was a video I did last year, and I cried through this video. And it talks about me learning the difference between joy and happiness, and how I wanted joy and I didn't want happiness, and the difference between the two. Right, Joshua? And in that book, she also talks about setting boundaries and how we honor them. That from this point, I cannot go and you cannot come. That's an amazing thing. It's not me disrespecting you. It's me honoring you by saying, I understand this is what you want to do, but I cannot. So from this point, I can't go and you can't come. It's a great book. But I'm going to post that video about the difference of joy and happiness. Trust me, you think you want it, you think you know what you want till she broke it down. And if you can get past me the crying part, as I figured my whole life out in that moment, then so I got a question. So now that we want to know what respect looks like for ourselves, right? The name of the book, yeah, I have a crook in my neck this morning. One day my soul opened up. It's the journal. One day my soul opened up. And that's one of her old, I read that book like when I was in my early 20s, but she has a journal that goes with it. And it's inside of that journal. Honey, will change your whole life. It's really good. So I got a question. Now that we ask, absolutely. Now that we have talked about what does respect look like for ourselves and how we tell everybody what it is, and we need to respect the honesty. Yeah, it is, and it's so good. And what does the self-respect look like for ourselves? So now I got a question. Okay. So that should be a square up exercise anyway. Where do you feel like you're lacking your self-respect in your mental, emotional, physical, financial? Square it up. So the topic is, where am I not respecting myself? How am I not respecting myself mentally? Because I keep putting up with this same situation, this same friendship. How am I not respecting myself in this friendship, mentally, emotionally? So we're going to do this mental, emotional, physical, financial, then flip it over and do all the ships, the friendship, family ship, relationship, career, religion ship. And then on another, you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. If you had respect for yourself, what would those situations look like? Oh, thank you, Joshua. A to the men. Thank you. A to the men. There's no place you cannot go. So now I have a question. And my boxing coach asked me this. When are you going to put what you know to work? He was talking in terms of boxing. When are you going to put those moves to work? So he said, JoJo, you like, not that kind of shit. Great morning, Miss Margaret. He said, JoJo, you know the combinations. You know the 1, 2, 3, 4 uppers. You know all the combinations, right? You know how to stand. You know how to parry. You know how to slip. You know how to roll. You know how to pivot. You know how to do all the things. But when are you going to put those moves to work? You know how to box. You know how to jab. You know how all the things to do. When are you going to pivot and get off the line? So in boxing, absolutely, you got to work it, Margaret. In boxing, what they call off the line, if this is the punching bag in front of me, once I hit the bag, I need to move off the line. Meaning, once I hit the bag, I should not still be standing square face to it. If I'm standing square face to it, I'm in a perfect position to get punched in the mouth. So when I jab, I need to slip, or I need to roll, or I need to pivot. And pivot simply means take one step out of the way in the opposite direction. So when are you going to use what you know? We're not talking about what you don't know, because you already know that you know a lot. You are assuming that you don't know anything, so you don't have to make that decision. So let's get that out of the way. You already know. We're not talking about what you don't know. You know that. We're not talking about problems. I'm offering solutions over here. You already know what the problem is. So you got the education, you got the words, you got the wisdom, you have the thought, you have the mind, you have the tenacity, you have respect to yourself. When are you going to move? Right, Margaret. Thank you for sharing too. When are you going to move? When are you going to pivot, get off the line, and move? When are you going to take that step over? When are you going to put your combinations together? When are you going to combine all the things? Remember we talked about being the whole experience? That was like 2 weeks ago last week we talked about being the whole experience and watering yourself down to accommodate others who may not be able to. When are you going to do that? When are you going to move out of the way from getting punched in the mouth? Meaning you know what's fixing to happen in this situation. You understand that. You understand that if you stand here, you're going to get hurt this way. Your mindset won't grow. You understand that you're not going to make enough money. You understand it may not be the right place for your kid. It might not even be the right place for you. You know, if you stay in that religion box, it's not serving you. You understand that the creator is so far outside of the box, it can't be contained by 3 letters. It can't be contained by 1 book and 1 word. But yet you stay standing in front of the other person, your opponent, getting punched in the mouth every day. Mad, upset, frustrated, crying. You want a better life. You want something different. You don't know what to do. Jesus, help me. I don't know. Friend, you have all the tools. You have all the information. When are you going to make that move? So when we spar, and I don't, I've only sparred once or twice. I got punched in the nose. When you spar, either you want to be the aggressor or you're not. At some point, y'all know we talked about this. Maybe it was back in January, December. At some point, you got to be the aggressor. Meaning at some point, you got to advance on your opponent, punch them in the mouth, and let them know that you're here and you're ready for business. That means at some point, friend, you got to walk up to that idea, punch it in the mouth, and say, ta-da, JoJo's here to make this thing happen. At some point, you got to, ta-da, write that vision down and be like, boo, we about ready to make this happen. At some point, you're going to have to make the move out of your community. At some point, you're going to have to make the move out of your state. At some point, you're going to have to make the move out of that career that you insisted on having. At some point, you're going to have to make the move out of that religion that keeps you stuck. Right. You spent all of that money learning. So I'm paying every month to learn how to box. But when I get into the ring to spar, am I standing there to get punched in the nose? Am I standing there to get punched in the mouth? Am I just standing there and be like, oh, that hurt, you punched me in the mouth, but I didn't use any of my tools. I didn't keep my hands up. I didn't protect nothing. I just stood there and like, hit me. I didn't try to pivot. I didn't try to parry. And I didn't try to slip. I didn't try to roll. I didn't try to give you the 1-2. I ain't nothing. I stood there and let you punch me in the mouth. I stood there and let my opportunity slip past me. Right, Joshua? So this morning, as you are respecting your honesty with yourself, let that be a part of your respect for yourself. What does respect look like for yourself? How do you respect yourself? Square that up. And then you've been armed with the information. My question is, when you plan on doing something with it? When are you going to get off the line? When are you going to bust a move? Right? And listen, in boxing, even though there's 4 corners, the match happens in the center of the ring. It happens in the center of the ring. At some point, you got to be the aggressor. At some point, you got to let your opponent know whatever you deem your opponent, whether it's your career, your mindset, your financial relationship, your physical relationship, your mental relationship with yourself. At some point, you got to be the aggressor and be like, it's going down today. You about to catch these hands. I'm going to give you the 1-2 uppercut and I'm about to knock you out. And then I'm going to pivot and I'm going to go the other way. Like, when you going to do that part? Because at some point, you got to be the aggressor to that. And you have to understand that as the aggressor, I'm letting you know I'm here for the fight. I'm letting you know that if you decide to hit me back, you can catch these hands because I'm ready. Number 3, as the aggressor, I'm letting you know that I have a plan in place. I'm about to apply what I know. What did I go to school for? To get all these degrees and letters and do nothing with them for? What was that for? So I am well armed, and you are well armed with information. When you going to do something about it? Right, Margaret? What are you going to do with it? You are powerful. It's like you are a powerful moving train, and all you doing is standing there and toot blowing your horn and spinning. You doing the Michael Jackson. You standing and you leaning in every direction, but you really ain't moving. You just leaning. You ain't went nowhere. So you got all the power. When you gonna move on it though, JoJo? When you gonna move on it though? So when you gonna be the aggressor on this thing? When you gonna get off the line? When you gonna slip and pivot and walk in another direction? Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning? So what does respect yourself with your honesty with yourself today? Okay. Respect stands for reasonable expectations of self, persistence and perseverance and preservation, excellence, and that it will continue, it will be continuous, and it is always timely. That's my definition of respect. Right? You powerful, but you ain't busting a grape. That's like that man walking around with all the muscles and he can't even open up a jar of pickles for you. Is it just for show? So as you respect yourself, do that square up exercise: mental, emotional, physical, financial. Where are you not respecting yourself in those areas? Flip it over. Where are you not respecting yourself with all your ships? Friendship, relationship, religionship, your career, honey, whatever ship you want to add to that. Where are you not respecting yourself? On another sheet of paper, if I respected myself in these areas, what would my life look like? If you ain't got a whole piece of paper, a pen, honey, use a crayon in the back of a bill. You got a crayon, a pencil, a magic marker, a Sharpie or something. Listen, I don't want to make this hard. It's very simple. And even if you driving or whatever you're doing, think about it. So what does respect look like for yourself? You telling everybody in the world, this is how you're going to, you not fixing to disrespect me, but you disrespecting yourself every day. And so when somebody disrespects you, you're going to get angry, but you also are conceding, meaning they were disrespectful, but they didn't really mean it. It's because you're not holding yourself to the same standard that you're setting for them. So in boxing, we're getting a boxing lesson today. When you going to bust the move? When you going to move? You know all the things. You have all the knowledge. You have all the information. You have the power. You are well armed, honey. You already know how to pray. You already know how to be covered. You already know all those things. Put it to work. What good is not? There is, and whoever is a Bible scholar on here, find this scripture. There's a place in the Bible that says, why do you have all of this information? And I'm paraphrasing it. He says knowledge. Why do you have all of this knowledge and it's not applied? Why do you have all this information, but it hasn't changed you or anything around you? And it's going to be in, I think that's in the New Testament. I'm almost certain. I'm an Old Testament fan, but I think this is in the New Testament. Why you got all this information? Like, why? Absolutely, Margaret. Absolutely. So why do you have all of this information, Jojo? Why do you have all these degrees? Why do you have these certificates? Why did you write these books? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And you ain't moved. You standing in front of the box getting punched in the mouth by your situation, by your career, your religion, your whatever. When are you going to pivot? When are you going to parry, meaning to knock it out the way, knock it down, avoid it? When are you going to put your hands up and apply what you know? When you about to give me that 1-2 combination? Thank you, Margaret. When are you going to do that? Because if you stay on the line in boxing, I mean, if you stay right in front of your opponent, you're in a perfect spot to get punched in the mouth. And at some point, what they teach you in boxing, what they taught me the first time, and the second and the third time sparring, and every time I step in that ring and I'm nervous, and he says, "Jojo, you up?" And it's me and him, and he got the headgear on, and he's standing there waiting for me to advance on him. I now have to recall what I've learned and apply it in that minute. I have to decide if I'm going to be the aggressor or if I'm not. And what does being the aggressor look like for me? And sometimes as being the aggressor, I'm going to go punch that thing in the mouth to let it know, ta-da, here I am. I'm about to apply everything I know. You about to get all the combinations I've been working on the bag. You about to get all the parries, the pivots, the slips, the rolls. You about to get every move I got. I'm about to give it to you. So if you ain't ready, you better get off my line. I'm letting you know I'm about to bust a move. Right, Joshua. Make your own, huh? So on this wonderful, what's the day? Wednesday. It's going to be a great Wednesday morning. It's going to be an absolutely wonderful. Respect your honesty with yourself. And some of us, we will not grow, we will not move because we can't respect the honesty inside of us. I can't be honest with myself first. That's part of, right, Joshua? Stick it. As if you don't learn nothing in boxing, you learn stick and move. You better, honey, that jab to the body, you better jab it and move at the same time. Get your head off the line so you don't get punched in the face. It's working Wednesdays. Please make sure you go check out Miss Margaret, who is the job coach. If you need help with your career and HR things, she is where you need to be. So please make sure you check out Miss Margaret in the mornings. When Churkin starts early, honey, Margaret be up early, changing the world. I'll be right behind her. Hey, Dee. So on this wonderful day, what does respect look like for yourself? Yep, right, Josh. Jab and move to the side, honey. You better pivot. If I learn, let me tell you how I learned real fast how to pivot and get off the line. When I got punched in the nose, I told y'all with that nose ring, and it brought tears to my eyes. I learned real quick. Keep my hands up and the pivot. Move out the way. Slip. You get hit one good time. And that's the thing. Some of us have been getting hit with life so hard for so long that we don't even know we're getting hit no more. And we just standing there taking it, and we bruised, and we have all of these things going on, but we assume it's normal. So when are you going to have a reasonable expectation of yourself to be persistent and have perseverance over yourself, to have excellence, know that it's going to continue and that it is timely. That's what respect means to me. So on this lovely day, I hope this has helped somebody. I'm going to try my best to find my car, see if my chiropractor is open today to take care of this neck and this shoulder so that I can actually turn it. Yes, it is right, Joshua. It's the last day of March. Today is Tammy's birthday, so everybody wish Tammy a happy birthday. I sung happy birthday to her earlier this morning at the beginning of the show. So happy birthday, Tammy. I hope you have the most amazing day ever. So on this wonderful day, y'all, please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the Josh. And Joshua, I measured something else and didn't measure yours yesterday. I'm going to go do it right now. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Please don't forget the podcast. Don't forget the books. Don't forget the TV. Listen, y'all, if your friends and family don't watch Facebook, please send them over to the podcast. I went and checked my stats. They are really, really good. People are really listening to the podcast, even though I am going to be changing it out. So please make sure, let me post some links to the podcast so that you'll know where to find it. Even though, if I promise, if you type in the Live Past Crazy Show, it's going to come up. I promise. It will. It will. It will. Here is the link to here's the link to the podcast itself. It sits on Buzzsprout. Now, let me tell you where you can find. Let me give you the official list where you can find the podcast, because I just named a few: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Alexa, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podcast, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player Info, Podcast Index, Overcast, Castro, Castbox, and Popfriend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We are on 19 platforms. So you can find the Fearless Morning Show on 19 platforms for podcasts. So on this lovely day, if there's a show that you missed, know that I am loading them. Good morning, Beverly. How are you? I didn't even see that over there. Good morning, friend. Hope you're having a great morning. There. And Joshua, it is simply for right now. It is the morning show preloaded, but there is like an introduction and an intro and an outro. And I will be applying, like we do have breaks inside, and I'm working on doing that. Thanks, Tiffany. So if there's some shows, just know that I'm loading them. But we are doing pretty good, and I appreciate everybody who has listened to the Fearless Morning Show over there. Yesterday we had 74 downloads, meaning that 74 people listened, which is great because we started out with 7 on March the 2nd, and today we're up to 74 at the end of March. So Wishing on a Star is one of the top podcasts, Wishing on a Star, and let me share that with y'all. Listening on a Star is where I talk about how I wished my life away waiting on other people. So, and what that looks like. And what it looks like, how I did it, why I was doing it, and, you know, what was it adding to me? And it wasn't. And it wasn't. And I was wasting my life wishing for everybody else to say something and to do their thing. And that wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to them. I mean, it just wasn't fair at all. It wasn't fair to anybody, but I was wasting my whole life. Thank you, Joshua. Here's the link to that one. And then today I'm going to definitely post a replay of Joy and Happiness so you can know the difference between the two. So I hope this has helped somebody today, guys. If you share the show, can you please tag me so that I can properly tell you thank you? The quote of the day is respect your honesty with yourself. Oh, I got some. Y'all drink lime water, warm lime water every morning. So I hope this has helped somebody today. If it has, please take what you need. If it has not, please leave it for somebody else. But I want you to have the most amazing day ever. I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's absolutely nothing. There's nothing after that. There's nothing after that at all. Thank you, Joshua. That's the song. And let me tell you, please learn some lessons from JoJo. Remember, my definition of respect: reasonable expectations of self, persistence, perseverance, preservation, excellence, continuous, and timely. Thank you, Miss Veronica, honey. If y'all could just help a sister out, can y'all send some positive vibes over here with this neck issue so that I can at least turn it past here? I greatly appreciate that. So I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you guys here bright and early. Let me tell you, remember when I say we don't feel like it and we do it anyway? This morning, I had to physically hold my head to get up out of the bed this morning. Yes, I'm going to go see Dr. Hunter. I'm going to call him to see how soon he can fit me in because a sister is rolling out right now. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, Joshua. And I'm going to send you my message. And Joshua, I'm glad that you are enjoying your bracelets and everything. And Margaret, if you send me your address, I will mail out your bracelets and your journals today. So I hope you have a great day. And I will see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Let's see if I can end this thing the right way. There we go.